Members of the local, national, and international media covering our elections here in Davao. At the back, we have members of our legal panel who have been helping us understand the election process. Ladies and gentlemen, we will ask the mayor for an opening statement, after which we will have a question and answer. But because the polling is still going on, let us just be careful not to ask questions that may be misconstrued as influencing the election process which is still going on. Thank you. Mayor?
May hapon kaninyong tanan. Good afternoon to all. And this is not a press conference, actually it's a short talk. After voting, my statement is that I'm satisfied with the conduct of the elections now. There is the constitutional mandate to the Commission on Elections to conduct a fair and honest elections. It's so far I have not received any report about cheating and violence. Maybe in some other areas, but not big enough to make a dent in the integrity of the elections now. I'm satisfied. It's still going on, and I do not want to be presumptuous. I remain hopeful only that I will prevail. But it is important to stay now, here and now. At this moment, I would like to address myself to my opponents. Four of them, and I would say that, well, these past few days were quite virulent for all of us. The black propaganda and the false accusations exchanged between two sides. And I would say these are really part of a day's work in an election. But I'd like to say that I'd like to reach my hand to my opponents. Let us begin the healing now. I would not entertain questions about the possibility of winning. My cut short ever since this will be my 11th elections in my life. I have not suffered any defeat so far. Maybe this time, God wills it. But if He also wants me there, okay, I'll serve people. I'm kind of not really skeptic, but please ask me questions. Sans the victory because there is none in sight. And I ain't there until I am there. Rappler, yes, ma'am? You are a very small lady and a very small voice. Kindly use your...
Good evening, sir. Sir, when you say healing, you're calling for healing. Can you be more specific? And how would you say your opponents and the country can go on this path to healing?
It's not the right thing. I'm sure that feathers have been ruffled terribly, and there's always the hurt. And I said the black propaganda, the propa, and all the, including the kitchen sink that was thrown in my direction. I said, let's begin to forget and start healing. I said I would like to reach the hands of I extend my hands to my opponents, and I said, let us be friends. Forget about the travails of elections.
Okay, next question. Then, please.
Sir, the international media has called you mass murder advocate. Any comment on that?
It's part of the healing process. And of course, murderer, I'm sure that there will be a resurrection one of these days.
Next. Here at the front.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir Jerome Morales from Reuters. Sir, how would you differentiate how would you make people safe na, is it, kasi there are fears that they will die for petty crimes, or how will you solve crime in 6 months? Kasi with that fear in mind, na pag petty crimes lang, kill na ba? How will you solve that answer sa that issue?
If you kill people for petty crimes, then you must be a petty human being. And it would be sad and a tragedy for this country to have a petty president. I've been targeting against drug lords. Yeah, killing of women and children, say, as an accusation is pure garbage. You media men in Davao know that. Even if I wanted to, you cannot do it. But for those guys who are or who were in the past stood pat to their position of doing drugs and the city, I said it's the number one problem now of the country, and criminality, and corruption in government. These three things must stop altogether. If I am into the presidency, and for about 3 weeks to 1 month, and nobody would believe me, and nobody would follow my order, then even if you give me 10 years, I cannot really do it. Give it to somebody else who can hack it. But if nobody follows you as president that day, even day one of your presidency, you are in trouble. So I expect to clean government. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't bother me. Go ahead. I said, if I cannot command obedience or respect for the office, it's going to be a hell of a time for you. But ako naman, when I say do this, do it. And in government, I said, wait a minute. Can I have a pentel pen?
Reset, please.
I would like people in government to memorize this one word. I'm addressing myself to the BIR, the taxmen, customs, police, especially who are into organized crime in Manila, and all. Do not oppress the people. Stop your corruption. Now, the next question is, what will you do? Well, you will know. But I'd like to make this short talk with you, very short, because it might be misconstrued as something, sabihin ng tao, nothing of the sort. I am not addressing the statement with the result of vis-a-vis with the result of the elections. I said, I remain hopeful, and I am not there, I ain't there until I'm there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, ladies and
Mayor,
gentlemen.
isa na lang. Isa na lang, please. Thank you.
And
Mayor will take another question.
you have to pay for this. Give it to the church. I think together with my penalties for the evidence that I have good so far.
Yeah, I'll talk to Bob. Sir, if none of the candidates immediately healed your call for healing, would you make the extra effort to reach out to Rojas and even Trillanes? Kasama ba si Trillanes dun sa healing mo?
Well, if they're willing to say, I offer, it means everybody, without exemption. But if you don't accept the goodwill, fine, can I do? I've always believed this deep and abiding faith in God. I do not have any particular religion now. I'm a free range believer of God. Uh, hanggang dyan now. I said, do not talk about me, about my religion, because there is none. I've lost it along the way. Especially with my dealings of lahat. But something there up in the, it's a universal mind. Yan lang ang, it's God and the eternal law of karma. If you do good, He'll reward you with the goodness of the universe. If you do bad, karma takes over. Yes, ma'am, you have a long spite of your
Hi,
Ina
sir.
sa CNN.
Yes, hi, sir. Ina sa CNN. Still in relation to that, so what role, if any, could any of your opponents play in a Duterte presidency? If you're open to that idea, sir.
I would be glad to maybe. This is just, I said presumptuous because I am not the president. Can I answer it maybe tomorrow? I'm quite hesitant to. It's not being too presumptuous, but there's another. It's a sort of
Not the correct question.
in our language. It's called delicadeza.
Very inappropriate. Inappropriate.
It's a Spanish word, actually, but just to be not really on the safe side, but it's too early to gives you the grips.
Okay.
Sir,
Another question.
Okay.
About
Sir,
how about going to war?
no, about your efforts to fight crime, sir. How do you make sure, you've always said that you will use the police and the military to go after criminals. How will you make sure that these people will not abuse this authority you're going to give them, especially considering that you yourself in the past have said that these institutions have scalawags and meron din mga corrupt sa kanila. How do you make sure that they do not abuse this authority?
The corrupt generals of the PNP must go. And the corrupt policemen anywhere, they have two options: to retire or maybe to die. Because if they don't stop the drug business, meaning to say they would be at it, and there's a warning. I mean, you can get killed. Gano'n niya, pagka lumaban ka, especially if you're a policeman, you don't want to resign, and you insist on doing drugs, and my orders are, listen to this very carefully. You go out and hunt for them, arrest them. And if they put up a good fight and would refuse to surrender, and if you feel that your life is in jeopardy, shoot. You have my authority. What else to do? You want my soldiers and police killed? It should be the criminals who have to go first. We are responsible for the security of the nation. We are responsible for the integrity of this republic. We have to provide security for all. A government that does not or will do nothing, cannot solve the problems of drugs and criminality. That government is a waste. It must, as a matter of fact, I would say, it must go out.
Okay, we'll have a final
Sir.
question. Ina?
Sir, Tina Panganiban Perez from GMA. Sir, can you describe your journey from when you filed your COC up to today? At saka sa lahat po ng pinagdaanan nyo, saan po kayo pinaka nasaktan or nagalit?
Wala ho, because surprisingly, in all of my sorties outside of the city, including Luzon, which expected to be quite, not really hostile, but not friendly. You know, even in the north, lalo na yung mga Ilocano. Because itong mga Ilocano, they are the conservative type. The most conservative sa all the tribes in the Philippines would be the Moro and the Ilocanos. That to me is just an observation. Suppress ang ano nila, reaction. They do not show it, how would I term it? They would not show it extravagantly in public. Tigil, hindi kaya ng mga Tagalog, pati Bisaya, lalo ng Bisaya. And some other areas, but akin to the Bisaya. They cannot help their exhilarations and all that. So, nakita ko, quite subdued, but very good. There was no antagonistic behavior. And I'd like to thank the Ilocanos and all, and even in Pampanga. Ang nakita ko na uncontrollable na crowd, mo taga Davao. You would need a riot police to every time. Let's go into the lighter side of life. I mean, I can drag you along, but this is not so. I would like to be very. This is not something that I'm interested to know about the outcome now. What's the exit? No. I said I can either go down in defeat or go up in victory. Yun ang ano ko. Since everybody siguro is interested to know your reactions, my reactions, how I feel, I am hopeful. And I pray to God. If He wants me there, I will accept it. If God does not want me there, I will accept it. I will retire from public life.
Okay, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank Mayor Duterte and thank everyone. As have been our practice, we have our dining hall ready to welcome you. We can monitor all the TV networks that are reporting the progress of our election. Thank you, Mayor.